Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on how to manage retail loss prevention with intelligent video and data solutions, sponsored by Solink. My name is Jack Britton. I'm the editorial director at LP Magazine, and I'll be your moderator today. Before we begin, let's review a few housekeeping items. We'll be recording the webinar for those who weren't able to attend today. And we are also looking to make this available as a podcast if you would like to share either of these with your teams. If you'd like to review the webinar again, an archived version will be available in the next few days and can be accessed using the same link that was sent to you earlier. Others in your organization can also register and access the archived webcast for the next several months by accessing the webinar at losspreventionmedia.com. Everyone listening will be muted, but if you have any questions during the webcast, you can click on the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen to submit your questions. We'll try to answer as many questions as possible at the end of the presentation. To begin our webcast, let me say a few words about the topic today and introduce today's speakers. Businesses are moving their surveillance to the cloud to enable secure remote access with always-on 24/7 availability. Next generation solutions provide a hybrid of video security and surveillance footage combined with POS data, delivering full analytics and insight into your locations, operations, service, and site activities. In this webinar, we'll discuss how Solink can help you to save valuable time during investigations and with your day-to-day operations, all from one platform. Our speakers today, we'll start with Ken Trovato. Ken has introduced and designed products for the security and loss prevention industry for nearly 20 years. Ken's expertise is in video surveillance and integrating data to provide actionable intelligence for the end user. He has a passion for innovation and design, providing profitable business solutions to his clients. Prior to joining Solink, Trovato was co-founder and CEO of NextWave Security Solutions, where he provided leadership in innovation, product development, and customer success. His experience spans across the U.S. and Canada in the QSR, casual dining, retail, financial, and transit verticals. Ken?
Jack, glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Brian Brodus has over 20 years of experience with an extensive background in loss prevention, retail operations, logistics, e-commerce, technology, store operations, and investigations. Throughout his career, Brian has developed strong skills in personnel development, expense control, leveraging assets, and team building. As a senior director and vice president of loss prevention, Brian built and developed highly effective teams that leverage technology to achieve unprecedented financial results. Today, Brian serves as the loss prevention practice lead for Solink. Brian?
Thanks, Jack. Glad to be here today. And, as we kick it off today with everybody that's on the call, good to see a lot of those faces and names. I do recognize a few of you. First and foremost, in today's environment, time is absolutely critical to every LP department out there. I mean, let's face it, we're being asked to audit different things, track different data points, still manage investigations, and candidly doing all this in the midst of a time where, from an external or ORC perspective, the criminals, look like customers, right? Everybody's coming in with a mask on. So saving time and making your jobs easier to do quickly while you're on the go is absolutely going to be more important than ever. At Solink, pretty much we wake up every day with that in mind. How can we save time? How can we make you more efficient in everything that you do every day? And so that's really what this is about. So I get the title that it talks about, intelligence and data, and that's all true, and that's high level thinking. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to how can we make your teams better at doing what they do every day and save them time while they're doing it, because time is going to be of the essence right now, especially as the country continues to open up stores. Ken?
When you talk about time, the three verticals that we look at that have a barrier to your success are the three silos of data, video, and case management. And when we look at that, we just think of three silos that do not communicate very well at all. And this can really be a demise to a lot of organizations, or make it very, very difficult. And when Brian was talking about what we do with Solink on time, it just inhibits it. And so how do we manage that so we can do that much faster? How do we integrate data, video, and case management? That's what we're going to be talking about, because this ultimately saves time with you when you look at the data on the POS side, when you look at the video on whatever video system you have currently, or whether you're going to get a new system. We can manage both of those. And the case management too, we can pull all that together. Brian, how would you say this from an LP?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, Ken, I mean, really, you know, what he's really trying to drive at here is the simple reality of how our world works, you know, ground level. Typically, you know, whether you're mining data or whether you have an incident that's reported to you, you're going to have to find some way to investigate and validate whether it's true or false, or what exactly went on. So, you know, in the typical world, that means in most cases at the very beginning, you're going into case management to log it as some form of an incident before it elevates itself to that case level. Then you're going into some other system where you're going to look for data that supports whatever you're looking for. And after you do the research, you're going to back across again and go to video to try to validate what you see within the data. And, you know, typically if you're fortunate and it's within the last 30 days, maybe you still have the video, but you may not, number one. And then number two, you're still bouncing from system to system. And then even after validation, you know, by the time you go forward, you know, you have all your evidence, you put it all together, then you got to go put it all back in the case management. You got to enter a statement, you got to put witness information in there. It's just time consuming. It's system to system to system to system. And today's LP professional spends a ton of time, you know, candidly on the road, in stores. We got to be able to move fast. We got to be nimble. And, you know, look, face it, like once again, this is crisis time. And when there's a crisis in retail, they turn to LP. So you're doing a lot of management of, you know, people and resources and a lot of different things. You don't have time to bounce around from this to that or that to this. You need to be able to do it very, very quickly, very efficiently, and get the resolutions fast. And that's, you know, again, one of the major issues that I've been voicing over here that I know people face within the field every single day.
Within that view, when you look at video, there's all sorts of systems. Typically, when a business grows, it might have legacy analog equipment and it might have new IP equipment. But you have to dial in, as Brian just said, to each one. On the data side, you have a POS system, whether it's one POS system or when it's multiple POS systems, if you have multiple brands, we can manage all of that together, because what we do is we basically tie the data and the video together and link it together so that with one click, you can get to either one, simple, and then you can actually take it to the case management side. And if you choose to, and benefit from all three of these being tied all together. This is a perfect example of how we do this. We have POS systems, we have cameras, multiple cameras, old, new, it doesn't make a difference. We could be the platform for that. And then we have various case management systems. It can be computerized, it can be paper, it doesn't make a difference. We can accomplish all of that and pull all those silos together. Let me go ahead.
And, you know, Ken, prior to you jumping ahead there, let me just throw one key point in there that I think is absolutely critical, which is, you know, when he talked about the integration of that video and that data and what that really looks like, one of the things about Solink that's game changing and just totally unique is the fact that we will take every one of those POS transactions or any other event that you give us, and we'll marry it with that video clip and we'll store it in the cloud for a year. So when you think about those investigations that you have done where, you know what, we got the information, we started to look at it, we found the problem is 2 weeks old. However, you know what, this person's been doing this, there's a pattern to this, we want to go back, we want to understand more, we want to know who else was involved, but oh no, you know, there's no video left, it's gone, we can't pull it up. Right. Those days are completely gone when you deal with Solink. So that integration of those two things in the way that it's done is, you know, I haven't seen anybody else that does it, quite frankly.
No, that's really, truly a game changer. The here I've got exampled here, and I want to show you how we do this. You have a store in Los Angeles, one in Chicago, one in New York, 3 or 3,000, it doesn't make a difference. As Brian just said, there's video for each one of those, whether it's a 30-day storage or 90 days, each different ones, it doesn't make a difference, because once we put the Solink system in play, you can have the video as long as you want. And all the transaction and video that's linked together is going to be in the Solink cloud for up to a year. And so you really take all the question out of it, so that when you think, oh, do I have that video? Yes, you do. The video is all there for you. Let me go through this here and show you how we do this. Here's a video system, a POS system. The video systems, interestingly, kind of stay in their silo. And you normally have to dial into those, because everybody talks about platforms, and these are on their platforms if you have a proprietary system and you can put it on there. But not too many pull them together. We do. On the POS side, there's all this POS data, and the customer always wants to have that POS data to see what their revenue is, if they're voids, what's going on in their business. They definitely want to know all that information. And so they're getting that to their headquarters, whether it's multiple brands or whatever. They want to know what that information is. What we do is we go ahead and put a canopy over the whole thing, over all the platforms. It doesn't make a difference what the platform is, from the video side to the POS side. We put a canopy over all of them, and we basically say, okay, how do we get it to our Solink cloud? Because we're a cloud-centric product. And we do video storage at the site because there's just not enough bandwidth to get it to the cloud at this point effectively. But what we do is we take the POS data and we get it to the cloud. We can do it in many different ways. We can do a direct link, or we can do it an FTP server. We can do it in a lot of different ways. It's we get the IT teams together and they figure that out. And then what we do is we take all your video from your cameras and we shoot it up to the cloud, what we need to. So here we link the transaction to whatever video that's associated with it, and we store it in that cloud for a year. So when you need that video, whether it's being here for 30 days, whatever you had originally, it doesn't make a difference. We're managing it for the long term, however you need it. And then you can access that video, that transactional video, from a desktop, from any mobile device that you have. You dial in, you can get it. It's very robust, and we'll show you a lot of other really cutting edge technologies that get to that mobile device, because everybody's mobile these days. Ron, did you have any comments?
Yeah, Ken. You know, listen, for me, when I look at this, right, obviously it's kind of walking through how we tie things together, and technically, you know, we'll get through all the details of all those things. But what it really means is this, and this matters a lot today when you guys think about it, is that these are all different investments that we've already made, right? We've already invested in POS, we've invested in CCTV, we've invested in RF or RFID, we've invested in EAS data, we've invested in all these different technologies already. From the executive level, you're going to have to go back and re-justify budgets, as we do every single year. And every single one of those systems are legacy systems. They are costly. There's always repairs. There's always upgrades. And I can tell you, coming out of a financially challenging time, budget dollars are going to be hard to come across. So the real question is for us to be able to bring something positive back to the table by being able to say, hey, with this particular tool, we're going to get more out of what we already have put dollars into without necessarily needing to upgrade everything. And that's huge. And then when you look at the fact that it transfers to mobile, again, that's taking all the horsepower of all of those investments you've made and putting it into the palm of your hands, or putting it into the palm of your LPDM's hands, or putting it into the palm of your store managers, or more importantly, maybe your RVP's hands, so they can manage their business and understand what's going on while on the go, while doing other things, while conducting the rest of their job, which has always been the challenge with any technology. You know, you don't have time to sit down and become a technology expert. You have to be able to move forward and do your job. But I'll tell you what, Ken, why don't you go ahead and dial into the system and show them a little bit about how simple it is to get some of the benefits out of the Solink system.
Sure. Let me jump into our desktop view of the Solink system. And here, this is our menu board here, but I'm just going to jump into events here and just show you how simple it is. I tell people, if you can use Google, you can use Solink. It is truly that simple. And we even make it simpler. But right now, I can go to this window right here and this bubble and just type in whatever I want. These are all the transactions. These I can go day, week, month, year. I can look at revenue, transactions, week over week, see how sales are going. But if I just want to look up an event and tie those two things together, transaction with video, all I do is go ahead and say, what do I want to see here? Let's go ahead and type in refund. I type in refund, refunds come up for the past year here. If I want to go ahead and look up cash refunds, because that's typically where the fraud occurs, I type in cash, I get all the cash refunds here. And whatever is on this transaction, I can search by it. I can also go a step further and say, I want to go ahead and see everything above $100. So here's all the transactions above $100. And I can simply, quickly go there before, as Brian could contest to, that this could take a long, long time to make that happen. Let me go to a different one here. Here, this is Chick-fil-A. They're a premier customer of ours, and they do police discounts, first responder discounts, and a lot of the locations, up to 50%. Now, that can be abused. But if you wanted to go ahead and see, let's see who's got the police discounts. Let's make sure it's no friends of anybody, but truly police officers. I just go here to this bubble, type in police. I'm going to go ahead and I don't want to see any drive-through. I can just say not drive-through. There's intelligence in the system. And then there's all. I look at it. I just scroll right down. I can see the police officers in these views, and I can just keep on going down through as many transactions as I want to. Simply, there's the thumbnail. There's the police officer, no question. If I see where there's not a police officer, I can click the video and play through it. What's nice about this is instead of having to type that every time, what I can do is I can save the report. I can put it in up here at the dashboard. I can put it on a simple widgets page, and this can be customized, and we'll actually do the customization for you if necessary. And here, this simple widgets page shows all the refunds, transactions. Again, here's that silo with all the data in it. And then how do we get to a police transaction? We simply just click the one we want to see, and it takes us right to all the police transactions that we've set up. One click, you go from data to video. It's super fast and super simple. If I want to go ahead and look at all my types of reports, I can come up here to reports, click into that, and I have a menu of reports. Some of them are private because I'm looking at people internally. Some of them are public because I want my supervisors and some of my managers to do reports and look at those things also. All of this can be sent to you on a daily basis, a weekly basis, however we need to set it up. And so you can actually manage it however you want. Here I'm switching over to Dollar Tree. And I want to show you how we do a refund analysis here. We type in refund, and let's go ahead and look at a time when things are slower, where more theft occurs typically. And so I could put the local time in of 1750, put a local time in less than 850, and just go through some of these videos. And I can simply look at these thumbnails to see, here I have a cashier, a customer, cashier, customer, no customer. Interesting. Cashier, customer. Well, let's click into this and see what's going on. So I click into this. I see that receipt. I can remove that. This is very concerning because here I have a cashier with no customer here. And I can see here with receipt data that it's obviously being removed from the POS system so it can be put in his pocket. Brian?
And so Ken, if I could just jump in here for one quick second. You know, one of the other applications that the tool has that we've developed that's really, again, just pretty dynamic to me is this is a classic scenario, right? I mean, typically, whenever there is a transaction at the POS terminal and there's no customer there, it's bad business. I mean, no matter what the transaction is, it really just shouldn't be happening. But at the end of the day, based on that, we came up with an AI that basically will allow our system to learn over time. So as we learn and understand you as a customer more clearly, we can begin to pull out these transactions automatically for you. So we have a technology, we call it customer not present, where it can detect for you that, hey, you have a POS transaction, no customer present, and every single day across your platform, we can force to you every single transaction that happens with that criteria. But as we all know in retail LP, the one thing that we've always been chasing forever that we've never had an answer for has been what we call, sweethearting, free bagging, whatever the case may be, which is the transaction where I come through the line and my friend acts like he's ringing something up, but he just puts it in the bag and off I go, right? So that same technology can be inverted the other way around, where we can do literally customer is present, but no transactions occurring on the POS terminal. And we can force those to you as well. So, the system is smart. And because again, while that was very easy and how Ken walked through that, pretty much 3 clicks is pretty much our rule. We want to get you 3 clicks to a case, right? So we know the things you want to look for. We drill in 1 hover, 2 hovers, boom, click, click, click. You've got a case like this in front of you to deal with. So it's very fast. But we're trying to get faster, right? And the way we get faster is by saying, look, just give us all the transactions where we have no customer. And now the way we're to do that, it's been game changing for a lot of customers that we have. And, again, I'm just really, it actually was one of the coolest things that I think I've ever seen. I've been looking for that or an answer to that forever. But Ken, you can go ahead and dial in a little further if you want.
Sure. This is how we, Brian, I want you to take this. This is really right up your alley with these SKUs. Go ahead.
All right, no problem. So, one of the things that, we pretty much have started to look at here as well is, when you have an investigative team, and I've managed a ton of them over the years, you really want to make sure they're not only getting cases, but getting cases that matter, right? And the reality of it is that everybody has high shrink departments, high shrink items, high shrink categories. You look at it however you want within your business. So we said, hey, I don't want people going out getting cases for bubble gum. So in this particular retailer right here, Jisk, they gave us all of their shrink data. And they said, hey, can you filter out for us our high shrink categories or high risk categories as you see it? Because we do a lot of that work as well. And once we dialed in, we can clearly see that these were their high shrink categories. So we built a report and a system based on those categories. So if you look at this, you're looking at a couple different things here, the 300s, the 700s, the 800s. They're going to be called something different in your environment, but those are nothing but departments. So when we dial into the 800s a little bit further, for Jisk, the 800s are nothing more than what some retailers would call, bedding, right? So it's sheets, comforters, all those sorts of things. And this report's pretty simple, right? It just shows you sales by day as compared to discounts by day. So from an investigative standpoint, you can very quickly go, okay, let's just click on a high bar where we had high discounts. Whether we had high sales or not, you want to look for obviously days where discounts might creep over sales, but you're still going to have your investigative team dial in. So when we looked at this one, we simply made, again, 1 click. It pulled up all the discount transactions only for that one department. So now we're getting a little more granular, not just looking for discounts in general, but we're going discount by department. Once we got here, very quickly, you do a quick scan. You can see the high dollar one, $318.54 was this one. You click on that, boom, the transaction is going to come up. And when you look at this receipt, right away I see it, you got multiple items that are repeated. So numerous comforter sets being sold. But more importantly, when you look at the discount amount associated with these things, you're close to 70% discount on every item. So this customer leaves the store paying $54.66 and receiving $318 in discounts. Now, occasionally we know we have clearance sales, depends on your business model. But when you see deep discounts and it's not normal, you either got a major training issue or you got an investigation you got to deal with. It's a case. In this particular scenario, this was a case. They ended up working the investigation. This was somebody this cashier knew. And we've all seen these things time and time again, but we want to be able to get you there fast. And so again, by being able to build reports very quickly that drill into those key categories for you is very, very helpful from a loss prevention perspective. But I'll tell you, we've talked quite a bit about theft, and theft is important, and that's where we live our lives a lot of times as loss prevention professionals. But the reality is there's a lot of things that we do in terms of general business and operations as well. Ken, can you click that for me?
Sure.
And so when, Ken showed you a dashboard and he really walked through and talked to you about how you could use it from a theft perspective. But the reality of it is, as we all know, and especially at the executive level, any tool that we have is very cross-functional. Other departments need it, can use it, whether it be marketing, sales, operations, doesn't matter. The dashboard's customizable, and it's there to give you an impactful view of your business. Again, now in this particular case, this is actually Tim Hortons, where we've actually penetrated into their 4,000 locations across, Canada primarily, but they have some sites in the US as well. But 4,000 locations, they have numerous RVPs out there trying to monitor sales. How are we doing? What's our transactions looking like today? They have certain cameras that are critically important. They want to just peek, make sure drive-thrus aren't backed up. Just those things that are quick touches, right? I just want to be able to wake up in the morning and say, are things going the way they're supposed to go? But one of the coolest things that I think we've brought to light recently is that ticker along the bottom. So if you pay attention to the bottom of the screen there, that ticker pretty much runs just like a stock ticker does. So it's live data that continuously runs all day long for their operators. So they want to see very clearly, hey, are my stores up, down? What stores are in trouble? What stores have issues? And obviously we've color coded it for them. So green generally means good. They can kind of somewhat ignore them. And then they get into orange and red, and they've got some concerns. They need to follow up and understand what's going on within those stores. But again, the point I'm trying to bring out is that we can show you and produce data for you as fast as you can get it to us. So this particular customer gives us data in real time through an integration. If you do that, then we can spit it back to you in real time. A lot of people, like Ken said, will send it to us overnight, and that's fine too. We'll take it in any format that you guys want to give it to us. But at the end of the day, it's all about us customizing things and making it work for your business and your business partners. So let's move back and try to move back a little bit back into the LP space though. But I just wanted you guys to understand that operations and marketing and all those other key things are available within the system as well. But let's dive into that, Ken, which you're right there, which is our EBR platform, or EBR view, in my opinion, which is, again, this is like looking at every associate in comparison to each other. And you can decide what stores you want, whether you want to do the whole company, a district, a region, one store if you want to, or, and ultimately any period of time. So in this particular case, this is Dollar Tree, and you're just looking at February 9th through February 22nd. And all these different reports that are on here with these plot graphs have been customized for that customer. And we'll do that for you and all of our customers. So anything we do is fully customizable. It's not a cookie cutter, here it is, take this and run with it. We're going to spend time and work with you on developing what you need. So in this case, we'll take a look at post voids of cashback sales by count. That's a transaction that in their environment doesn't happen very often. And you can see that by the number of dots that are on that particular plot graph. It's not a lot. So they already have told us, hey, when we see these transactions, we're concerned. And for obvious reasons, because they're rare and typically they have problems with it. But you can also see that even within that graph, there's an outlier. So you see one associate way up at the top, the other ones are at the bottom. So that associate has more of the problem or risky transactions in that particular category than all the rest of their peers. If you click on that associate, though, the benefit of this view is that it's going to pin that associate across all the different reports you have. So you might be doing an investigation of line voids, and because you see that, hey, Tim has done 50 line voids, he's out of bounds compared to everybody else, but you're just going to quickly tell you, hey, by the way, you might want to look at refunds too, because maybe Tim's hitting you over there too. So that's really the way that's designed. But in this case, once you get here, you've identified this associate is the outlier. You can click right in there. And once you do that within the system, it's going to pull up the post void transaction. Now, one of the things that we've done from a technology perspective, again, that I've never seen before, is that everybody that's dealt with post void investigations, and you understand that in most cases, the fact that the post void happened doesn't really matter, right? What you're really looking for is the original transaction, because you need to know, did the merchandise leave the building? And so what our system does is it correlates and pulls that together for you. So it's going to not only show you the post void that this associate rang, but it's going to show you the original transaction side by side. So that's the view you're looking at right there. You have the post void on the left with the original transaction that's on the right. Once you get there, the case is pretty much done. You click right there onto that original transaction. This is going to come up. You got the receipt overlaid. You can very easily, get rid of that if you want a clearer view. You hit play, you're watching live video instantly. And all you're looking for is something simple. Did they leave with the merchandise or not? In this particular case, as you continue to play it, Ken, you'll see these two individuals walk out of the door, and I think it's on the next one. You'll see them start to head out. Product's gone. There you see the bag in his hand. So you know for a fact this post void was conducted, but the merchandise left. And this is with classic post void case. The guy basically does the post void seamlessly while the customer's standing there. The customer has no idea, and later on he goes in the drawer and takes the money. So again, this is just how we approach these things. But it's, if you look at it, it's just speed, right? It's number one, build a report that gets you where you want to be, get you in the right church, so to speak. Then we're going to very quickly get you to the right pew, and we're moving right through the process so we can knock the case out and keep on moving. So, in this particular case, one of the questions that I had when I first saw the system was, well, now we're here, case is done, we got the video. Now comes the hard part, right? So what do we do with it? Do we download it to a thumb drive, put it on a CD somewhere? Do we have a closet? Like, what are we doing? Or if this isn't the only part of this and I need to share it with one of my field team members, how do I get it to them? How am I getting it to them? What does that process look like? So we're going to dial in the video for a little bit, and Ken will walk you through how we handle video. But I want you to keep in mind an investigation, right? So an investigation, an incident, a workers' comp claim, whatever it might be, how do you move that video? How do you maintain an audit trail of that video? How do you store that video? How long can you store it? And what does that process look like? And how painful is it for you sometimes today? Because I know in my experience, I've had all kinds of, I used to mail stuff all over the country to people when I needed to send video. Ken?
One thing I want to comment on is when you look at this this presentation and you see the cameras, you go ahead and say, wow, man, that picture could be better because the technology is there today. Well, if the camera is a high quality camera, we typically record in 2 streams, a standard definition and a high definition. The standard definition is so you can scrub through that video quickly, and then the high definition is so you can actually go ahead and get into it in depth. And then we back all that video up twice in a RAID 1 format, so that even if a hard drive fails, we have another backup for it, which is dynamite. But in this particular case, these guys have definitely excellent cameras at this operation, but I want to show you how we share videos. Brian set this up. And so I'm going to click into here, and they have a humidor. This is a C-store, and it's definitely Texas quality. They've got a fine cigar store there, but things do go missing there. The attendant went ahead, and the cashier went ahead and realized that there was a box missing, and so they said, okay, how do I find that? So what they did was they went up to the motion search. They painted this area, and they did a simple motion search. And you can see down here that on this timeline, we have a 24-hour timeline and a 30-minute timeline. When we set up the motion search and we paint an area, it shows all that motion activity there, and it shows one consistent person being in there. So we can then go ahead and basically run that search. You can see where the motion is. Here's our culprit. And you can see he's sticking the box of cigars into his shorts there, and putting his Adidas jacket over top of it. And then he walks out. So what we do is we just come up here to save a clip. And this is no longer having to sit around and download video to a DVD or a thumb drive and then having to give it to the police officer or anything. This is real simple. I come up here, I click save clip. I can go 3 minutes or 3 hours, or if more, I can do that. The time is not a limit. I type in what the title is, I put whatever notes I have in there, and I put as many email addresses as the people need it. And then all I do is hit save. When I hit save, I can walk away and I'm done. Literally, it can take just a minute or two. And then when it pulls it up to the Solink cloud, it stores it there. So the original's always there in the cloud. And then it pushes a link out to everybody on that email list. And each person, whether it's police, insurance, subpoena, whatever the case may be, your style, it's there. They can pull it up, review it, download it, but the original is always kept in the cloud. And we have access to it. And so at any time, you can come up here, click into it, play the video. You can add or subtract the people that are on there at any time. If you need to add another person, you can do it. You don't have to rerun it or re-download it or anything. You're just all there. It's real simple to manage it. So let me show you one other thing here.
Ken, I just want to jump in there for a minute because, where this really becomes totally game changing, in my opinion, is, quite frankly, I think throughout everybody's LP career, it's not so much the investigative videos that are the problems, right? It's the, slip, trip, and fall accident that happened in the store at 2 o'clock, and your insurance carrier says, or your lawyer says, I need that video, but I don't just need the incident. I need the video for 3 days or a whole entire day of every single camera in the entire building for whatever the case may be. And I can tell you, I've gone through it where, you're burning DVD after DVD or thumb drive after thumb drive. And the problem is you even got to sit there sometimes while it's going on. And candidly, to be able to go click, click, I sent it to you. I have an audit trail. I can control what you can and can't do with the video. So I can say, hey, this person I sent it to can view it. They can't download it. Or this person can download it for this period of time. Or they can view it for this period of time. And I can go back and change that whenever I want from the click of a button. I no longer have to worry about, oh, I mailed that. Who has it? I need it back. It needs to get over here to this person. All that goes away. And candidly, when they do call you back and go, thanks for sending me the video, but I need these 4 other cameras. The reality of it is that with this system, you can go back into that original email, hit the plus button, and add whatever cameras they say they want, and you walk away and you're done. And that in itself is just, I mean, I can't tell you how much headache I've had with this in the past, especially when you're talking about the security of your video, who has access to it. It can be a total nightmare. So I think it's just a huge benefit to be able to do.
Excellent, excellent. I want to change gears here and just show you something that's really unique to the Solink platform. And what we did is we took cameras that are there. When you think of those silos, we even bump into the alarm silo. Because when you think of those silos, they're all independent. And what we're doing is we're breaking down that and integrating all of the data that we have in any one of those. And so here is a typical door that you want to secure. And you want to know if somebody comes in or out of that. Now you could set that up for an alarm situation so that if somebody comes in, we paint the area. We don't do the window in case somebody walks on the other side. We don't want that triggered. But if somebody comes through that door, we trigger an alarm and we can actually push that to you. And there's a lot of different ways we can utilize this. We can utilize it so that if there's an alarm that goes off into your facility, you can dial in and take a look at it and see what it is. Or you can go one step further. I love the story. During the COVID last couple of weeks here, there were a lot of people that had 24-hour service. And then they went down to 8 hours. And their stores, their factories, whatever, had Solink cameras viewing it, but they didn't have an alarm system. And our CEO, I have to take my hat off to him. He said, what we really need to do is we need to help our customers out because they don't have alarms. And we have these cameras looking all over the place. And we have this technology here that we can videofy and send it right to them, do video verification, and send it to them if somebody comes into an area. And so we set up a GUI that said, hey, if they show up between closing hours and before they open up, we can actually push it right to your mobile device. You can see the person walking through the door or walking through the facility. If it's something that's not important, you just cancel it. If it's important, you dial 911 and you tell the police authorities what's going on. But this was a way to go ahead and take care of alarms. And if you didn't have an alarm system, this is another place that Solink is looking at moving into. I want to go ahead and discuss one more thing too. And this is another tangent here, but Brian and I have been talking about the silos, and we just talked about alarms and how we integrate that as well. But there's one piece that is really important to me. All of you have either an iPhone or an Android or some smartphone, and you go ahead and you learn about 3% of that information. And when you look at this, this system here, Solink, it has so much. It's incredible. And when you look at this dashboard, it can do so much. But then you go ahead and say, I don't need to become a Solink PhD. We agree with you. We have Solink PhDs already on staff, and they're willing to help you anytime you want. And I want to show you how we do that. We take our customer service to the nth degree. There's nothing like it. You come down here to this chat window. We have one on the mobile device as well. And you click this, and you get this start a conversation, or view availability for one-on-one training. Let's just start with a conversation. 24/7, 365. I have customer support, I have first level technical support, and I have health check of all my old cameras, all my new cameras, everything, even if we're the platform. But I have it all. I have any questions, I can click in here, and if I simply forgot how to download video, I can say, how do I download video, and ask the question. And they'll respond to you. And if you need to get them on the phone, they'll get on the phone between 6 a.m. to midnight. But here's the thing. When you don't have that ability, your system's not that functional. When you do have that ability and you have that one-on-one accessibility, it's incredibly helpful, because now instead of coming up with all these widgets or the reports, and we don't charge for reports, we don't charge for adding cameras, we're not nickel or diming anybody. We're making it so that if you need help, call us. We'll help you write the report. And actually, you can hit view availability here, and you can set up yourself for training on a basic level, on a more advanced level, one-on-one with a trainer at Solink. And then when you're being trained, you can go ahead and say, train me. You can ask questions, or you can say, hey, help me set up this widgets page and these reports so that I can be more effective with the whole Solink platform, and pull all those silos together. However you want to do that, we can manage that for you.
Yeah, Ken, those are huge points. I mean, when you really think about the value of that training, what I can say that's different than any other tool that I've ever used, candidly. No matter which one it's been over the years, there's been always something that, you know what, my team in some respect, some way, shape, or form has become the trainer for the enterprise or for the company or for whoever after we've learned it. We take all that away, right? So it's not just about you as a user getting training, but if you said, hey, look, I've got 50, 100, 2,000 store managers that need training, we're going to work with you to figure out a platform in which we can deliver that training. And that's something that nobody does. And we do that at no cost. And so when you kind of talk about cost and you talk about efficiency and you talk about all these things, capital expenses, what a lot of systems are. You want to buy it, you buy it. There's a capital expense associated with it. At the end of the day, with us, all that goes away completely. There's no capital expense with Solink. There's no installation cost. We're just not designed that way. And I think, candidly, coming out of this pandemic scenario, as the country does begin to open up retail again, slowly but surely, the one thing I can tell you is there's probably not going to be a lot of capital dollars flying around for everybody just to go spend. So the fact that there's no capital expense with this system, I think is just absolutely dynamic. And I think it's very relevant given the time that we're living in right now. And Ken, can you just walk them through a little bit about how we accomplish that no capital expense model?
Sure. It is dynamite. The system's installed, everything, and it doesn't cost you any money whatsoever up front. All the equipment, if you add new cameras or whatever, it will, of course, but whatever equipment that you have there right now, we can utilize. And we do this basically on a video SaaS model, VSaaS, video service as a software. And so what we do is we're basically going ahead and putting our equipment that we need to pull your video stored at your site, push it up to the cloud. We link it. We showed you that earlier. We'll review it before we go. And we basically do that on month-to-month contract. It's one flat fee. It's a low monthly fee. It depends on the number of storage that you need, how long you need it, how many cameras you have. If you want to add 1 or 2 more cameras at any time, you can do that. It's not a fee for that. It's not it's real basic. And all the services that we talked about here, from the analytics to the training and everything else, all falls under our VSaaS model. And we take care of you.
Yeah, and so, I guess this is, what I would kind of leave you guys with is that Solink is a product, and we do some dynamic things. I think the technology is fantastic, but I think at the end of the day, it's our team that makes the difference for you. And the reason I say that is because really what you're getting with Solink is not just the technology, but you're getting the horsepower of a strong IT group that does all the heavy lifting So, I mean, look, we tell people when you want to integrate Solink, you can tell your IT team. We'll do the IT dance, so to speak, with them, make sure they're good with our security stuff. We do a lot of banks, so I'm comfortable there. But at the end of the day, we just need one port. And, that it's like plug and play. It's as easy as it gets. Um, and again, so you have that horsepower. You have analysts over on this side of the fence that help you with data and reports and building reports, and you have an LP group, right? And that LP group is here with, well over, I don't know, 40, 60 years of experience collectively to, help you walk through and go through whatever you need to do within your business. And we do it on a customizable basis. So when I think of Solink, I think of it as just a solution that makes you better, right? And so, to me, that's what it means. And that's what the organization's about. That's what excited me about them, is the fact that candidly, it's all about making you win in whatever way that we can. And that's different for every single retailer out there. But the reality of it is saving time is absolutely critical within our space. Obviously I've been in this industry a long time. So a lot of my peers, we have conversations, and, that's really the issue right now. A lot of teams are going to be smaller coming out of this. And so you've got less people, but you're being asked to do more, right? So you're being asked to do more post-COVID than pre-COVID, but you're being asked to do it with less resources and less people. And you have to find solutions to it. And, candidly, Ken talked about the alarm solution. We came to bat with that because people needed it. We had some retailers that were in cities where the police just wouldn't respond to an alarm unless we could verify it with video. So we jumped right in the ring, said we can do that for you. We're doing a ton of other stuff when you think about technology for COVID solutions. We're right on the cusp of doing a capacity counter internally right now, where, as people enter your facility, once it reaches a certain number, it can, again, just push an alert to a phone that says, hey, this is the number, you need to make a change, transition the business. We do that. We have a cannabis customer out in the Midwest in Chicago that candidly used that, and it really helped them, where they're being regulated to the point they have to give the regulators access to their video. And so they could see whether or not they're practicing social distancing or not. That's, look, let's face it, these regulations, depending on how long they hang around, if they're government mandated regulations, they're going to become revenue generators and they'll be regulated. So if you're not prepared to deal with those regulations, you're not setting your organization up for success. And we're here to help you do that, whether it, again, is, looking at dwell time, looking at, social distancing applications, looking at alarm features, whatever it might be. And people, I always tell people with us, give us a call, give us a shot, tell us your problem, and let us have a chance to try to help you fix it. And that's really what it's about. All the data, video, case management, those are the obvious things. Those are the blocking and tackling to me, right? Bringing those worlds together and knocking those walls down is what immensely means value to an LP professional right out of the gate. But everything else on top of it makes us an overwhelming partner for you to work with. And, that's really my view of it. And again, the fact that it's mobile, Ken pull that back up there. I mean, I can't tell you how valuable it is for a lot of our customers to be able to say, hey, I'm on the road, I'm a DM, you know what, but when I pulled up outside of my store, I pulled this up, I see what's going on. I can go boom, 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 click, click, click. I know, and the reality of it is that you can now access all this information. When you talk about mobile, you don't need to even be on like a network. So you don't have to be on on any type of Wi-Fi. You could pull it up directly from your phone. And, the other kicker is, we had one customer whose IT team, Gap's IT group said, hey, we don't want anything on our network at all. So we went ahead and developed a 4G solution for them. So you can get everything you just saw completely 4G off of your network. So you might be in a situation right now where you're going, hey, I don't have time to go through my IT's process, but I do need the solution now. Well, we have a solution to get you even there. So, and again, that was developed because the customer asked for it. They need it, we do it. That's really who we are. And so Ken, I don't know if you have anything else for him, but that's it for me.
No, we're coming up to the end of our time here, so I want to make sure we have plenty of time for questions. But, we're here to serve you, to answer questions, and we're just touching the edge of the iceberg here. Solink does so many things. When you have a cloud-centric product like this and you are breaking down the silos in the industry, it can provide you so many opportunities and time we save, and that's a huge thing. So at this point, I'd love to go ahead and escalate this to questions, whatever questions you have. I hope you can shoot those in, and I think Jack's going to moderate those for us.
Wow, guys, great presentation here. What I would say to start with here, we've got several comments rather than just questions here, and most of them are simply saying that they're impressed with the system and all the different things that you guys were able to accomplish. I guess we've come a long way since we did going through the register receipts and old refund documents like we used to do, huh? Before we begin the Q&A, I want to remind you that this webinar will be available on demand for the next 90 days or so. You will be getting an email reminder with a link to the presentation. There will also be a link on the webinar page of the magazine website at losspreventionmedia.com. Now, our first question, are you saying that you are a complete video management system, exception-based reporting tool, and case management system all in one, or are you just integrating our systems?
And I'll go ahead and take it. Absolutely, we are absolutely all three. We have the ability to integrate into some of your systems if that's what you want us to do. But at the end of the day, we serve all three of those silos and functions. And, you know, one of the things we didn't even touch on at all, but we also are a full audit tool. So for those of you that have operational audits and different things you do, we can house that, attach video to it. And again, you know, that really allows you to even do remote auditing. So yes, we are all of those solutions all rolled into one.
Okay, explain to me how you save my video and transactions long term.
I'll take that one. When we go ahead and store your video in the cloud, what we do in your transactions, we're taking that video from the POS system, from your POS system that you're pushing to us. And when we get that transaction in the cloud, we literally reach down and pull whatever video is associated with that. If it's a couple of minutes of video or whatever, and we store it in the cloud so that when you access it from any portal, from your mobile device or from your desktop or whatever, you're reaching right to the cloud or the unlimited bandwidth to quickly review that data and analyze that data. And it's just so quick because it's all right there in that Solink cloud.
Okay, this question is related. Is there a retention limit, not for saved video, but for pulling video in general? That is to say, how far back can I pull video?
You know, as far as transactional video that's linked, the two are linked, that we keep in the cloud for a year. That's what we aim for. When you talk about video at the actual site, we ask you at the very beginning, how long do you want it set? Most people do a 30-day time frame. We can do 60, we could do 90. The equipment we use is off the shelf. We had a cannabis operation that Brian mentioned that wanted 1 year's worth of video, continuous. So we have 1 year worth of video. And so it really depends on what you want. That is the only requirement. How much storage do we need to manage how much storage you require? And we can manage whatever you need.
Tell us what video analytics you have.
So from an analytics perspective, I mean, we have everything from heat mapping to motion search. You saw the analytics about customer not present. But you know, one of the key things that I think we do exceedingly well is we can leverage any analytic that's on any camera that you own. So that's where the real strong benefit, and that's why I talk about getting more out of your investment you've already made. So many people have a bunch of cameras out there. And when you bought the camera, they said, hey, this camera has the capability to queue people, to do line queuing, to count people, to do this, to do that. But you have no way to actually use any of those analytics today. We can take that data and take those streams and bring them to life for you. So any analytic that's out there today that's on the camera, for the most part, we haven't seen any that we haven't been able to work with. So that, you know, again, the sky's almost the limit there in terms of what analytics we have.
How can we be assured that our sales data and video recordings will be treated with confidentiality and will not be leaked?
Yeah, so from from a like technical security level question, it's a great question. I'm not going to give you the nuts and bolts of it. We have a security IT group that'll answer all those questions in detail. I can tell you that, you know, again, because we do work with a lot of the major banks across the country, we pretty much have crossed every single security threshold that you'd imagine in terms of privacy, security, and how we can make sure that no one else has access to those things. But again, you know, I'm not going to take a shot at that's not my role here, but we do have people that can answer those questions.
Yeah, Brian, that's a good point, because on the banking side, that's where we cut our teeth. We have we make sure that no one has any issue with everything's encrypted, and you give us the data, it's not going to be there. But here's one step further than that too. If somebody was concerned about the POS data they were giving us, they can scrub it and give us what we need. We don't need account numbers. We don't need names. We don't need a lot of information. We need the information to get the video link that you need. And so if there was a concern there, or there was a concern there, we'll work, our IT groups will work together and say, okay, what do we actually need? Chick-fil-A sends us over 2,000 transaction logs a night, and we parse that information and manage it. They give us the information they want to give us. They've scrubbed it. We have what we need, and we can give them all the information back that they need. And that's how it works.
You mentioned video alarms. How does that work?
So video alarms is a great technology. I mean, because we use the existing cameras you have, and pretty much what we do is we use the actual motion events that happen, and we literally push those alerts or alarms to you. Now, there's a couple different ways we can do it. We can do it as an SMS alert. We can do it as an email, which I think is way too long. Or the fastest one that literally responds within seconds is we can push those alerts to you, to your mobile device through the app. So if you have the app, no different than any other app that you have, as long as you will, you know, allow notifications, those alerts are going to come to you in real time almost. So, and I mean, as far as who you want to get them, you know, it's up to you. Sky's the limit. Once again, as to how many people you want, if you want it, if you don't want it. And again, it's fully customizable. And the cool thing is, it's completely just part of our platform. So it's not something that we've charged anything extra for, or any other fees or any of those things either.
Okay, I'm wondering if I can take this system to my airline, airport, and hotel security business.
So the answer is actually yes. We do a lot within airports today. So I'm very comfortable that we'll be able to help whoever that is out that asks that question.
Okay, this goes back to looks like to the former question here. Do you have alarm verification integration with any central station software?
Ken, you want to grab that?
I'm not positive about that. That was a request the other day, and I don't know if our team has done that. I know that some integrators that we've worked with, we've actually integrated with them to go ahead, and when their alarm panel goes off, they send us the alarm code so we know what region it is, and we actually push the video back to them. But you're looking at something like more of a central station video where we push the video directly to that. And I don't know if we're at that point yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if they are. I have to, whoever had that question, please reach out to me and I'll follow up with you in more detail.
What is one or two unique solves you've seen customers use Solink for?
Wow. You know, I mean, one that was very unique was customer not present, right? So for one of our retailers, they have huge opportunities at POS where you're dealing with customers and pass offs. And it's just the nature of the business they're in because of the items they sell. And so I can tell you that particular analytic is critically important. Another one that's been critically important has been motion search, right? So a lot of our customers have overnight crews and overnight teams and overnight deliveries. And so being able to control what happens within the four walls of those buildings overnight, meaning that there's certain high risk areas that exist within certain scenarios where they want to be not only notified if someone's coming in or out of there, but be able to also very quickly go through and identify movement. So when you have people in your buildings overnight, everybody's experienced it. Sometimes bad things just happen. So you'll get a tip, you'll get an idea that, hey, something's going on in this particular area of the store, or people are leaving out the front door with merchandise because they have keys and the assistant manager. Quite frankly, being able to highlight that and very quickly go through the video without having to sit there for hours and fast forward, rewind, to be able to just go to the blue section. Because when you do that motion search, it was hard to demo it for you, but basically it'll just pull out for you. You just go here. This is when you had the issue, and it's instantaneous. And again, the fact that we can alert you on it is just game changing, because then you don't have to play the game of let's put up a camera, wait, search, do the investigation. It's like, hey, all right, well, I think we know what they're doing. Let's highlight that area and we'll fix that. And the third one that we solved recently has been fire exits, right? So from a compliance standpoint, we have the ability to do item left behind. So if you have a particular item that's left in the front of a fire exit or a door, and that's an issue with you with freight, some of our customers have that problem. Regulators come in and there's millions of dollars in fines and costs and things along those lines. We're able to tackle that for them and be able to solve that problem. And then I guess the last thing that I would throw in here that is very unique is, I mentioned we have an LP group, so we do support customers also. So you may have some issues that your team is looking at. We're going to look at them alongside with you and also dive into those problems and work with you one-on-one. So there's a lot of different solutions that we've had, in my opinion.
And all those solutions that Brian just addressed, we can put those up on our dashboard, and you can literally look at the dashboard once you log in and see, in that one case of motion, did anybody come in the office in a secure area in the last month? It's a simple line. If there's a line there, click it, you see the video. That's what we're trying to do, is save time. And the same thing with the deliveries or whatever, cleaning crews come in, click it, you see who's there, how many people are there, whatever you decided to do, you can set it up on a simple dashboard view and see it firsthand and help you get to the information you need to very quickly.
Okay, guys, unfortunately, we're up against it here. I got to tell you, I've been wanting to say through this whole thing with the 10th pick, just with you guys in the background there, but really that's about all the time that we have. If we haven't answered your question, we will be using the submitted questions to help put out some follow-up in the next few days. We'd like to thank everyone for attending today's webinar. Thanks to Ken and Brian. We appreciate your time and your insights today, and especially to our sponsor, Solink. And to everyone out there listening, we appreciate your time as well. Stay safe and have a great day.